What's up, you guys? My name is Hutch, and I make videos and put them on the internet. And today is Friday. It is June the 13th. Almost said 12th, but it's not the 12th. It's the 13th. And last night I watched a movie called Predators, directed by Robert Rodriguez, the guy that did From Dusk Till Dawn, and guest directed in 4 Rooms. He did Machete and Machete Kills, and I think he did Sin City 1. If I'm not mistaken. But he's not doing Sin City 2 as far as directing goes. I think Frank Miller is actually going to be directing that one. So, yeah, I'm watching Predators last night, and I remember I saw that. It's like a remake, reimagining, reboot, I don't know what you call it, story in the Predator universe. And I had originally seen that movie in LA like a few years ago, and I didn't like it so much when it first came out, but I decided to give it a second shot last night. Which kind of ties in to the topic at hand today. It's Friday, which means it's bonding time. It's when I bond with you guys. Not to be mistaken for docking, because I can't dock because of my lack of foreskin, discussed in the previous bonding time with Hutch. But bonding time is kind of like a little Friday series I'd like to do with you guys to keep the personal side of this channel alive and well. Used to be, I did something along the lines of so your ... But I'm not so much into the vloggy type advice giving things so much these days. I do prefer to keep it gameplay centric, keep the focus on video games for this channel. But yeah, so the topic of today's bonding time is what I originally wanted to do with my life when I was a tiny little baby Hutch, or younger Hutch. And that was, I wanted to be a movie critic, and my career choices or what I wanted to do jumped around so much when I was, especially when you're younger, because you don't know shit. And I'm talking about like 5th, 6th, 7th grade. But I remember that was my ultimate fantasy, was to become a movie critic, and I used to wait, sometimes patiently, sometimes not so patiently, for the Friday edition of the newspaper to come every week, because I look forward to reading Roger Ebert's reviews of all the films that were coming out. And I just thought, in theory, that sounded like the most amazing job ever. I've always been a huge movie fan. I was raised with sort of 90s action movies like Predator and Die Hard and True Lies and pretty much every Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone or Jean-Claude Van Damme or Wesley Snipes movie you can imagine. I've seen them all, and that was like by far the biggest genre that I was exposed to when I was a wee youngin. Turns out that as I got older, my taste in movies kind of shifted more towards like dark comedies, kind of like artsy types. Like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is my favorite movie and has been since I saw it in theaters on March 19th in 2004. I remember the date that I saw it because it was my sister's birthday. But yeah, that was originally what I wanted to do with my life. And I'm curious as to what you guys are thinking that you want to do with yours. Because it bounced around so much, like especially when I got to college. I got to college and my first major was business administration with a minor in Spanish. And I originally wanted to get into marketing. Now keep in mind, I picked this major when I was 17. I didn't really know too much about the world and my place in it and what I had imagined for myself. If you would have asked me back then, hey, do you want a career in the video games industry and video game media? I think of course I would have said yeah, but I didn't even really understand that was a thing back then. Video game media was not as big as it is now. It certainly existed, but it's not. I mean, you guys have a lot of role models that you can look to on YouTube and be like, yeah, if they can fucking do it, I can do it. But back then, we didn't really have that too much. It was way more of a niche crowd. Got to college, pre-business administration. I took 1 year of business classes, and I loathed it. I couldn't stand it. It was just so far off the mark from what I found interesting that it really left a sour taste in my mouth. So I ended up becoming undeclared my second year of college, and then my third year of college I switched to sociology major. I kept the Spanish minor, but I never did finish college. Like life events kind of popped up, and I didn't have the like financial backing that a lot of people have, and I was working full time, and I just kind of like one semester told myself, and this is the trap that you're going to fall in, you youngster college students, if you ever say, hey, I'm going to take one semester off and take it easy. It's never just one semester. One semester turned into like 5 years, and I ended up like waiting tables because it was the easiest way to make cash when you're that young, and you don't have a lot of training or vocational skills or anything like very marketable that you can put on a resume. It's not a bad job. Waiting tables, I think I've made a big fuss about it before, but not a horrible job. But it certainly wasn't a career that I had imagined for myself. Then one day, had a breakup with an ex-girlfriend, was super bored, very into Call of Duty at the time, and I took the last remaining pennies I had down to Best Buy and bought a capture card, started recording videos. And I could tell, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I had this gut feeling probably like right around the time that Machinima had partnered up with me and I was posting videos on their channel. But I had this feeling even before that partnership had occurred, that this was something, that this was going somewhere. I saw a lot of potential in it because there were so many people watching it. And I thought, well, if there are so many people watching video games on YouTube and so many people that are curious about this sort of new form of media, then there has to be something marketable. There has to be some value in that people aren't seeing quite yet. And then, of course, like a year later, I got offered a job at Machinima and worked there for a few years, and this burgeoning, booming, huge industry just popped up during that time. And I'm proud to say that I'm one of the founding fathers that paved the way so that you young and up-and-coming YouTuber, Twitcher people can do what you do. And I think that's pretty cool. I feel like I feel pretty honored and proud to be at the forefront of all that. But it all started with a dream of becoming a movie critic. I had a very short-lived series on this channel a while back called Movie Talks, or Hutch's Movie Talks, which kind of fulfilled the same old craving that I used to have back in the day for doing that sort of thing. But now's the part where I ask you guys, what careers do you guys have in mind for yourselves? And if you had a career in mind and it didn't quite pan out the way that you thought it did, and then it ended up segueing into something totally different, then share your thoughts there, because there's nothing trickier than trying to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life. Anyways, enjoy your weekend. Have a good day. I'm out of here.